Jesus said the gates of hell shall never prevail against His church. He said it's going to be presented to Him on that day, sanctified, washed by the Word. A glorious church without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. That's what He said. But Paul the Apostle comes along, even though we have this promise that in the end of time, when Jesus comes, it's going to be a glorious church that He takes. It's going to be a prevailing, overcoming church. We stand on that promise. But in the meantime, the enemy is going to come and try to destroy that church. And Paul the Apostle and the other apostles tried to warn the church of what was coming. The Apostle Paul said, for the time is coming when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust will heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. They shall turn away many of their ears from the truth. Preach the word. Be instant in season and out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. That doctrine is of self-denial, the return of Jesus Christ, holiness, forsaking of sin. That which you do not hear in the church of the itching ears. All over the United States we see this American gospel of greed. This American gospel, as I heard one well-known preacher being interviewed, he said, if you come to my church, I guarantee you will prosper. And the theme of the church is money will come. Thousands and thousands attend that church. And that's happening everywhere we go, this American gospel, because they see it on American TV. And then it becomes an attraction to all those unsanctified men, those wolves in sheep's clothing that are coming just to fill a need. Peter wrote a warning to the church to stir them up, he said. He said, in the last days there shall come scoffers, walking after their own lust and saying, where's the promise of His coming? Because all things continue as they were. Who are these scoffers? These are those who turned aside with itching ears to another gospel. And so they scoff at that message because it's a message of condemnation and guilt against greed and against lust. But let me tell you where the young people are not scoffing and laughing, but confused. To hear a church, to hear a people of God preaching about the coming of the Lord. And I tell you, these young people say, if Jesus is coming like they're saying, why are they living like He's never coming? Why are they living like we're living? Why aren't they going further and further away from the world? Why are they not separating themselves and getting ready for this coming that they preach about? He is coming back for a sanctified body of saints who are separating themselves from the world and all the things of this world, not letting it get a hold of their hearts. He's going to do it by raising up spiritual Nazarites. A Nazarite took a vow. Some were under vow at birth, as Samson. They took a vow of separation from the world. And this vow for men included no drinking of wine. That represented no giving yourselves. It means total separation from the passions and lust of the world around you. Don't drink in anything of this world. Don't touch anything of this world that will rob you of the life and the purity that is needed for the Holy Ghost to work through you. I'm telling you what God is going to do in the last day. The only way He can bring back the church to this prevailing mode, bring it back to the glory, He has to have a separated people, a Nazarite people that have made a Holy Ghost vow and led by the Holy Ghost. The more wicked this world becomes, I am going to turn to Christ with everything that is in me. I'm going to seek God like I've never sought God before. I'm going to walk a different path. I don't care how many Christians say they can do it. I can't do it because Jesus is coming and I want the Holy Ghost in my life. What is God's answer? How does He answer? What does God do when the church is under dominion of the enemy, where there is no strength, there is no power to impact the world? He doesn't send an army. He finds one man and separates himself completely from the world. And when He gets this man separated and is convinced that this man will walk in that separation, that he knows that that's his calling in the world, that he's in the world but not of the world. When we moved into this theater, all of Broadway said, that show won't last 6 months. They were angry. And then, folks, Broadway started feeling the impact. Actors start getting saved. The musicians started getting saved. The singers started getting saved. And they cursed us. They tried to buy this theater back. The people we bought this theater from came to me, offered millions of dollars, and one man pleaded with me, please give me back my theater. I said, no, standing room only for Jesus on Broadway. Folks, it wasn't a program, it wasn't a book. It was because the Holy Ghost was in the pulpit and the Holy Ghost is burning in the people. And folks, in this time of shaking, God is going to have a people. There's one thing He wants in this last day when everything is stirring. He wants men and women so separated with clean eyes, pure hearts and clean hands that are turning away. If there's been any flirtation in these things, backing away, asking the Holy Ghost for power and backing away, saying, oh Jesus, I want the Holy Ghost to come upon me on my job. I want the Holy Ghost to come upon me on the subway. And when I'm in church, I want the Holy Ghost to come upon me. And He said, that's when the mighty works begin to happen. That's when your family gets saved. That's when God begins to meet needs. When the Holy Ghost is free to move in our vessels.